This is my Bible. I believe the words that are written in it. I receive the blessings from it. And I can achieve all things through it. Isn't it funny how you can say something over and over and over again and you still forget it? Amen. This morning, really want to touch base on how we treat other people that we come in contact with. I mean, you think about it, every day we run into people. Some people you try to avoid and you still run into them. Whether it's on your job, whether it's in Walmart, the grocery store, whether it just be walking down the street, coming to church. I mean, we're meeting people all day long. And some people, it's the same people over and over again. And then sometimes there's new people that come into our lives. And some people for, just a brief season. And some people stay longer than you would hope they would, but they're still there. And so this is where I'm going to talk about how it is that other people conceive our interaction with them. So I'm going to ask you a question. How do you treat people that you come in contact with? Some people you might ignore. Sometimes, we're in a rush, we're busy, or we just ain't got time for them, and we just ignore them. But little do we know that God could have had you cross paths with them for a reason. But we ignore them, and so we really don't be used by God the way He would have us to be used by them. And then other times, sometimes we're short with people. People ask us a question, we're okay, whatever, just, tell me what you need to tell me, I'm in a hurry, I got to get home, dinner's cooking, or I got to go out to eat, or something. And sometimes we're very short with people, and, you can tell when someone's short with you. I can tell when I'm asking somebody something and they're like rushing me through the conversation. I'm just like, I see you're busy. I'll talk to you later. But what type of expectations do we put on people that we meet? I mean, think about it. We expect so much out of people. And sometimes those expectations are so high that we ourselves can't even achieve those. We expect people to be like God themselves. We expect them to walk on water while we're just sinking ourselves. And so we need to really be mindful what type of expectations that we place on others. And how we interact with one another will make a lasting impression. Someone once said, and I believe it was Walt Disney himself, people might not always remember your name, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And that is so true. You could have met someone 20, 30 years ago, and you see them on the street, and you're like, man, what is their name? For the life of you, you cannot remember their name. But you're able to remember if they were good to you, or if they were bad to you. I can't remember that person's name, but I remember a good time we had, or this or that, or I remember a time where this person was so angry or upset. People remember how you make them feel. They might not remember your name, and especially me, I don't remember. I wish everyone wore name badges. That would be good. Sometimes Mom, right? Yeah, I remember today. But it's hard to remember people's names. At least it is for me. It took me forever to remember Bob, and I just think of him as Builder Bob, and that makes me Bob the Builder. And then some people's name you want to forget, like Larry. But anyways, it's all how we make other people feel. And that's what's important, that we make that lasting impression. I believe I'm horrible at first impressions. I hate first impressions. It's after you meet me like 2 or 3 or 4 or 20 times that you start to like me or tolerate me. But first impressions are the worst. And I always perceive people with their first impressions as not who they truly are until we get to know people. But the problem is a lot of times we don't even take the time to really get to know people. Because we're so much in a hurry, so much in a rush. Granted, it's not always easy to treat people with respect, especially those that have hurt us or who wronged us.
Amen.
People who are nice to us, that's easy. You want to do something nice for me, I'll be your best friend. You want to give me $20 after the service this morning? I love you. I really would. And you give it to me in quarters, I don't care. But people that hurt you, people that wrong you, step on your toes, how easy it to be nice to those people. You want to be short with them. You want to be rude to them. You want to get revenge on them. But is that what God says to do? No, He says we shall love our enemies. Now, would you like to take a Sharpie marker and just scratch that verse out? Why should we have to love our enemies? People do wrong to us. Shouldn't it be okay if we wrong them back? Or better yet, not even go that far. Just let me blot them out of my life. Why should they even be part of my life? Well, because God brought them to your life for a reason. And it might not be they're going to be your very best friend, but maybe you're going to be the one that prays for them. Maybe you're going to be the one that leads them to Christ. Because they hurt you, and they hurt you, and they hurt you, and still yet, you just show the love of Christ with them. And then one day they might realize, whoa, what is going on? Why is this person being kind to me? Why isn't this person, going off on me? And they might even ask you. And you can tell them because, God commands me to love you. God commands me to forgive you. And that might trigger something in them to want to explore a little bit more who this God is. Who is this man Jesus? What did he do for us? I'm a firm believer that hurting people hurt people. I get that. But when is it going to end? When will it, you can do something against me, and then that gets me upset, and I want to retaliate back, and I want to do something that hurts you. How many of you love to get the last word in?
Amen.
Anyone? We love to get the last word in. You say something to me, and right away I'm going to lash out, and I'm going to say something back to you. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to lash out and say something back to you. But if we take away people's ammunitions, guess what? They don't have anything to fire back with. I don't know if anyone's ever received an obscene phone call, or maybe a few of you made an obscene phone call, but anyways, they said the best thing to do is just simply hang up. Don't say, who is this? Don't say, quit calling me. Don't say, blankly, blank, 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 or whatever. Just simply hang up. Because all they're doing is looking for a reaction in you, whether it's a good or a bad one. But if you just hang up, guess what? They're going to quit calling you. They're going to go to the next number on the list. And so it's so important today that, we reevaluate how we react to certain people. Some people just know how to press those buttons of ours. They know what will set you off, what will tip you over the edge. And so they just constantly do it over and over and over again, and we fall for it. But it becomes apparent to that at a certain point in our lives, we have to take the higher road. We have to be the bigger person. Do we continue to judge and speak negative words against others just because that's what they've done to us? That's not right. Now, granted, we're not supposed to let people walk all over us. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying let people use you as a punching bag and you just sit back and take it. But there comes a time where we have to just choose to say, what? I love Jesus, and if you got a problem with that, we can go our separate ways, but I'm not going to resent you. I'm not going to hold a grudge against you. If any time you want to come around, I'll forgive you. But there comes times when we have to start to place limits before things get too ugly. Everyone wants joy and peace in their lives. But how many of you know that we're actually the ones that are standing in the way of us living that joyful and peaceful life? Because we can't seem to let things go. We can't seem to just say, enough is enough. We want to keep holding on to things. We want to keep, driving that wedge in between something. But is that leading them any closer to Christ if we continue on actions like that? I know no one is perfect, and we should allow people to take advantage of us, but eventually someone has to be the bigger person. See, a lot of times we want to focus on the speck in other people's eyes. It's so easy to judge other people. It's so easy to look at the faults in one another. And we notice this little dirt in someone's life when we're covered in filth ourselves. We notice the speck, but when we got this huge plank sticking out of our own eye. And so when was the last time, let me ask you, when was the last time you gave someone the benefit of the doubt? You think about it. We're so quick to worst case scenario. Someone says, hey, I'm going to come by today and, I'm going to help you out with this or that, and they don't come by. So what do you think? Well, how dare that person? I went out of my way, I made sure, I had stuff for them to drink, I, prepared a little meal for them and everything. You went out of your way to receive what they had for you, and then still yet they just didn't stop. And so right away we get upset, we get angry, And we just say, forget them, forget them. I don't care. Who do they think they are? Telling me, promising me, they're going to stop by, and here they don't even show up. The least they could have did is call me and say, hey, listen, I'm not going to make it. But did I at least get a phone call? No. But little do we know that an emergency came up. They're sitting in the ER. Or they're stranded on the side of the road with a flat tire or something like that. And then, once we find out the truth, then we feel bad about ourselves. Oh, we don't let them know that we were calling them every name in the book and that we were writing them out of our will. But that's what we do. When was the last time you gave someone the benefit of the doubt? We never know what one another is going through, but yet we think we do. Or we think we know what they should be going through or how they should respond. I truly believe that people want to do what's right, but they aren't strong enough to stop themselves from doing what is wrong. I don't believe there's people out there that really want to do harm. It's just that the flesh side really takes over, and it overwhelms them to the point where they can't control it and they lash out. I believe that people truly do feel bad when they do bad things. It may take them a while to get there, but eventually they do. Unless they're kind of mental in the head, and that's a whole other story. But how patient are you with people that don't seem to be getting it? You explain something to them over and over again, or you tell them something, and it's just like over their head. It's kind of like the lights are on, but no one is definitely home. The hamster wheel is turning, but the hamster is dead. And so sometimes it's real easy to get frustrated with people like that. I don't know how many times I told them, that's not what you need to do, or this is how you need to do it. And they just don't seem to get it. It doesn't register. And then we could kind of get a little rude with people like that. We could kind of get a little upset with people. And that doesn't help the situation. How can we today encourage others to be the very best version that they can be? That's what it's all about. Because, not everyone's not perfect. None of us are. But how can we encourage each other to be the best version of ourselves that we can be? By me ridiculing you, by me judging you, by me getting short with you, by me pointing out all your flaws, you think that's going to make you be a better person? No. What we have to do is just simply love one another. It's literally that easy. In spite of our flaws, we got to love the person. I don't know why Sue did this again, but guess what? We just got to love her as a church. Because guess what? Ain't none of us perfect. We could spend all day naming all our flaws. Who wants to start? But it's so important that we love one another. That we are there for one another. That we reach out to one another. Because it's all about leading people to Christ. Now that doesn't mean that we let people walk all over us. That doesn't mean that we let people just live this sinful lifestyle and we never intervene. But when we intervene out of love. Not coming down with a condemning word and saying, thou saith the Lord that you are banished or this or that. But we correct one another out of love, out of compassion. Ephesians 4:2 says, always be humble and gentle, be patient with each other, making allowances for each other's faults because of your love. And so that's what I want to focus on today, those three words, humble, gentle, and patient. And I believe if we can exhibit those three qualities in our lives, that will actually draw people to us so that we might be able to witness to them and share the love of Jesus with them. Now I know at first, to humble oneself seems like a negative thing to do. Having to lower one's dignity or importance isn't always easy. When you're used to being at the top of the totem pole, now all of a sudden you find yourself at the bottom. That's not always easy to swallow. You used to be the manager, you used to be the one in charge, and now you're the one taking orders. Sometimes that's not an easy adjustment. And so sometimes we need to remember that no matter what our social status is, no matter how rich or poor you are, we're all equal in God's eyes. We all put one leg on, or not one leg, one pant leg on at a time. Hopefully you got all your legs on. But we're all equal in God's eye. God created us all in His image. He didn't say, well, I'm going to create you in this, second-rate image, or you're the generic version of me. He says we are all fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God. And so I don't care if you got $1 million in your bank account or if you got 50 cents in your bank account. It doesn't matter. In God's eyes, we are all just as important. So we don't need to really carry around pride in our lives. You know, some people feel as if they have to toot their own horn, when we should just allow our actions to make noise of itself. You know, I never did like those people that whenever they did something good, they have to right away tell everyone. Let me tell you what I did. Or, you know, now with social media, let's say, for instance, you were standing in line at Target, we'll say that. And you notice the lady in front of you is short a few bucks. So what do we do? I know, I don't need the answer, I know. You give them money, right? Right, yep, see, we're on the same page. And so you feel good about yourself. So what do you do now? Now you log on to Facebook. Hey, just want to let everyone know I was in Target and there was this person in front of me and they were short some money and I just felt led in my heart to give them some money. And that's it. Now, why do we do that? Because we want to encourage people to go out and to give themselves? No, we do that because we want to sit there with our phones and see who's all commenting and saying how great we are. You're such a wonderful person. There needs to be more people like you and like, and we feel good about ourselves. That's why we post stuff on Facebook, because we want to see the like button happen. You know, there's nothing wrong with doing something good and sharing that testimony because you're glad that God used you. But when we do something good, we shouldn't broadcast it so that we get the credit. God used you, so guess who should get the credit? God himself. God himself. Bob, I'm going to share something. I hope you don't shoot me. He's not tooting his own horn. I want to toot his horn. He shared with me a couple weeks ago, him and his wife won some money, and they gave it right back to the people. And he could have used that money. I could have used that money. We all could have. But guess what God did for him? Gave him even more money because of that. Didn't you win some fishing contest? Went with Larry on a fishing boat and won some contest.
Yeah, he stole my fish off my hook.
There we go. But that's how God works. You know, Bob didn't come up here and say, church, he shared with me, not because he was prideful, but because he was excited that God was using him. You know, this is a new world for Bob. And I'm proud of him as a pastor, and I'm sure each and every one of us are. But the thing is, you know, when we do good, I encourage you all to do good. But we don't have to broadcast it so that we take the credit away from God, because our rewards we need to store up in heaven. You know, and if someone does something good for me, let's say Misty sees that I need something and she gives it to me, I'm appreciative. But if she runs and tells everyone what she did for me, that's going to make me feel good. Because I'm like, you know, why do you tell people I needed toilet paper and I didn't have toilet paper? You know, could you just give me a roll and just leave it at that? I gave Pastor Danny toilet paper. Hey, I gave Pastor Danny toilet paper. He said he didn't have any, you know? Sometimes that embarrasses people. I do have toilet paper. But the thing is, you know, we need to be mindful when we're helping other people out that we're not getting prideful in doing so. Because when people see us getting prideful, guess what? They're not going to want to receive your help anymore. And so it's important that we stay humble. It's so important that we stay humble because you never know when something's going to be taken from you. Oh, you might have the fanciest car, you might have the nice house, you might dress the nicest, and all of a sudden, bam, something happened. You're out of a job, your house is foreclosing on, you need help from other people, and no one wants to help you because you've always put your nose up to them. We need to dream big and to work hard in life while always staying humble. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to have nice things, because one day I hope to have nice things. I do. I really do. But there's nothing wrong with dreaming big. But we need to stay humble in doing so. Because you know what? Especially when God starts opening up doors for you, it's so important that we remain humble. Because sometimes, you know, when we're on the bottom of the totem pole, we're very humble. Oh, you know, God is great. I'm thankful for what God is doing. But all of a sudden, as we start to move up the totem pole, we get a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher. Now, all of a sudden, we're a little prideful. We think we're better than other people. Oh, you know, we forget where we come from. I always say the best nurses are the ones that start out as STNAs. They make the best nurses. The ones that go right to RN, gets their bachelor in nursing, horrible nurses. because they don't know what it means to use toilet paper. But it's so important that we stay humble, and other people will notice that, and other people will respect that in us. See, too much pride will destroy someone's talent. It will. I don't care how good you are at something. If you're prideful about it, I don't want to hear it. I don't care how talented you are. If you're just so full of pride, I don't care. But someone that is humble in spirit, to me, that their talent just outshines them. And we need to be reminded that pride always comes before the fall. So you might be getting that big head, but guess what? It's not going to last long. You know, people will compliment you and build you up at times, and it's important that we don't allow that to go to our heads. And there'll be times where people will discourage you, people will criticize you, try to tear you down. It's important that we don't allow that to go to our heart. By remaining humble will spare us from a lot of hurt. But the more success you achieve in life, the more humble we need to walk. Like I said, none of us are perfect. We all have flaws, and being aware of those limitations will keep us humble. Yeah, I know I'm not perfect. I mean, I got a little scar here. And so I know I'm not perfect. And that keeps me humble, this little chickenpox scar. But it's so important that we stay humble in life, and that we are aware of our limitations, because it makes us a better person. You know, believe it or not, it's hard to take, but I like it when someone comes to me and tells me something I did wrong. Like I said, it's not easy to take, and I don't encourage you after church, everyone form a single file line and tell me what I did wrong. But every once in a while, it's nice to hear so that I can build upon myself. And so we all need to be aware of our limitations so that we can be a better person. It's important, though, that as we stay humble, that we also stay positive. You know, you hear a lot of people that are like, they try to stay humble, and they're like, oh, you know, no, it's not me, it's all God, and, you know, everyone else could do a better job, and, you know, it wasn't really that great, and they're not saying thank you or I appreciate your compliments, but they're like lowering themselves to try to stay humble, but they're just being negative about what God is doing in their lives. To me, that's not being humble, that's just playing the pity act. Because they just want more compliments now. Oh, you know, I really didn't do it. Oh, yes, you did. You know, we want them to keep feeding us. And so we have to stay humble as we reach out to one another. Humbling ourselves doesn't take away from how important we are, but it helps us to realize that who we were created to be and what we were created to do. Being humble in life is a great quality, and it's a very positive attribute to have. Philippians 2:3 says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself. And if we do that, if we have a humble spirit about us, people are going to be more apt to stop and listen to what you have to say. Someone that is just full of pride and conceited and full of themselves, you think you could go up to, they could go up to someone and say, hey, I'd like to share Jesus with you. You don't want to hear what they have to say because they're just so full of pride. But someone who is humble in their words really makes a difference. Another attribute is gentle, mild behavior, kind or tender. Those are just a few words that describe what it means to be gentle. To me, the act of being gentle actually shows someone's strength. You know, it's so easy to fly off the handle with someone, isn't it? Very easy to fly off the handle. When someone says something to you and we just retaliate right back. That's not being very gentle. That's not withholding anything. That's easy to do. But when someone says something to you and you just look at them and smile, don't say anything back to them, you really want to get something, you just tell them, I'll be praying for you. That really gets to them. But being gentle, holding your anger, holding your tongue, that shows great strength. You know, with our words and actions, we need to always show gentleness. Exhibiting cruel behavior will only discourage others, where gentleness will bring about great motivation. See, a gentle word can accomplish great things and bring about miracles. You know, imagine you're doing a task, a job for someone, and you start to fall behind for whatever reason. And then your boss, your supervisor comes up to you and says, you know, what are you doing? Why is this taking so long? You know, you're just costing me money the longer it takes you to do this. You need to pick up the pace, come on. You think you're going to be like, oh, okay, let me do it. No, you're going to be like, who in the heck do you think you are? I'm just going to work even slower, I don't care. But imagine if they come up to you and say, you know what, I just want to let you know I appreciate everything you're doing here. You know, I'm so thankful that you're an employee. You know, I noticed that you're getting a little bit behind, but, you know, I'm confident that you're going to be able to pick up the pace because you know how important it is. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to do to help you get caught up. Now, how are you going to respond to that? Those gentle words being spoken over you. You're going to whip your button in motion and you're going to kick it into high gear because someone's being gentle with you, appreciative of you. And so you're going to go above and beyond to do what's right. A gentle word can accomplish great things. We need to be reminded of that. You see, there's greatness hidden in the gentle command. You know, some very delicate situations that we find ourselves in require a very gentle hand. You see, you'll never realize the people that you meet on a day-to-day basis that is on the midst of breaking. I mean, they're getting ready to fall to pieces. And if we come against them with a harsh word, very prideful, very ruthless, they're just going to shatter. And so some people, we have to be mindful of their state. And we have to handle them very gently, sometimes with kids' gloves. You know, sometimes you want to give people a piece of your mind. I know you do. But if you do so, it's going to destroy them. Someone could come into church this morning and, you know, you just had it up to here with them and you just let it out. And guess what? We never see them again. Like I said, that doesn't mean you let people carry on with bad behavior and you let people walk all over you. It just means that you learn how to deal with one another. And it makes a huge difference when people come back to church. When people come to church, they need to feel loved, not condemned. You know, we have some people that come here for a little bit and they're not here for whatever reasons. I'm not talking about you, Beth. But we don't walk in like, it's about time, my gosh, where you been? No, we're like, we're glad to see you. Yeah. We're glad you made it. We missed you. You know, that's the atmosphere people need to feel when they walk into church. Not just Church of New Harvest, but any church. When dealing with some very difficult people, sometimes we do want to use a stern approach. Especially when you feel as if you reached your limit. You ever get to that point where you just, you know, I've just had it. This is it. And you just, bam, it's gone. A gentle answer could turn away wrath, where a harsh word stirs up anger. You know, and that is so true. Like we were saying earlier, when someone is just firing out at you and hurting you and saying mean things to you, you know, we just want to get back in there and we just want to throw some punches ourselves. But again, if we just have a gentle word, you know, I'm sorry you feel that way. You know, your way of thinking is not accurate. And I don't know what I could say to change your mind, but I just hope you get things worked out. They're going to be like speechless. They don't know what to say because they're so waiting for you to lash out so that they can lash out. And we do this punching match. We need to get to a point where we're content with being right instead of having the need to prove someone else is wrong. You ever tell someone how to do something or what to do and, you know, and they don't do it? And then finally they do it and you just cannot wait to tell them, I told you so. Why didn't you listen to me? I told you so. We love to tell people that, don't we? But imagine if someone took your advice after numerous times sharing it with them and you didn't say, I told you so. You just said, I'm glad you finally got it worked out. How do you think that's going to make them feel? You know, someone's been telling me how to do something and I finally listen and they come to me and say, I told you so. What was your problem, you big idiot? You think that's going to make me love it? No. I'm like, forget you. And so it's all about our approach. Because the key is we want to be around people that are humble and gentle. And other people, believe it or not, that's the same the same type of people they want to be around. We learn to be gentle when we learn to love others, and we can be gentle because we are loved by Christ. Colossians 3:12 says, therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourself with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. And that's the last thing I want to talk about is patience. You know, something that most people have very little of is patience. We live in a fast-paced society where we run around like chickens with our head chopped off at times. And there's so much that needs done that there's just not enough time to do it all. And because we are in a hurry, we expect others to move quickly so that we don't have to wait any longer than we need to be. Imagine this, you're running late, you just had to finish this last program on TV, and so it puts you behind, and you realize, oh, I forgot to grab something. So you run fast into Walmart, you grab that one thing, you know exactly what you need. And you run up and you get in line. And you notice this little cashier, she's smiling, talking to everybody in line, saying, oh, I like your nails, and I like your purse, and this, and you're just sitting there, come on already, come on, I got places to be. And then the next person goes up and she's like, good morning, how are you? And you're like, come on, lady. And then finally you stand up in front of her and she's smiling, happy, and you just look at her like you're gonna kill her. And you tell her, what is your problem? You think everyone wants to sit here and have a conversation with you? You need to work faster. And she starts to tear up. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, where do you have to go? I gotta get to church. How do you think that's gonna go over? You're being rude and harsh to this person, and then you want to invite them to church? It doesn't work that way. And so sometimes we get so caught up in life, and we get so much in a hurry that we don't even give people a chance to pray about something. We ask people, hey, would you like to do this? Or could you do this? Or, I need to know right away. I don't know, I just might. Let me take some time and pray about that. See what God would have me. Oh no, I need to know right away. We don't even give people the opportunity to pray anymore. We want to know right here and right now. And in life, we are so much in a rush. We think that life is like a big checkoff list. Like the grieving process. Okay, I'm in denial, check that. Okay, I'm angry, check that. Okay, I'm in the bargaining stage, check that. Okay, and now I'm at depression, check that. Now finally the acceptance stage. Now I'm good. It doesn't work that way. Just like grieving, just like life, just like anything else, it's a process. You don't, do one step and then the next and the next. People who grieve, they can go up and down that ladder of steps all day long before they finally get to the acceptance stage. And in life, we go through many stages, many seasons. There's a time to live, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to uproot, a time to mend, a time to tear. There's a time to laugh, a time to cry. We go through many seasons, and we just got to be patient as we're going through these seasons. A lot of times we want to get through certain situations in life because they seem unpleasant. And we want to get through them as soon as we can and not even take the necessary time to learn the lesson that God is trying to teach us through them. Many of life's greatest blessing has come out of those who had patience. What's the old slogan? Good days come to those who wait. But sometimes we can get frustrated and we'll sit and we'll be waiting and we'll be yelling and complaining. When is this door going to open up? What's taking so long? When is God going to bless me? When's He going to heal me? When is He going to make a way where there seems to be no way for me? But that's not being patient. That's just waiting. Being patient is all in the attitude. Even in the hallway, I'm going to praise you, God. Even though that things aren't moving as quickly as I would like them to go, I'm still going to praise you. I'm still going to trust you. Even though that the doctor hasn't said my cancer's gone yet, even though I still have pain, even though I'm still depressed, even though that, I'm still financially struggling, I'm still going to praise you, God. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to be patient, God, because I know that during the waiting period is when you're teaching me something. This is the way where you're strengthening me, when you're teaching me something. It's like when you go to school for any profession, whether you're going to be a doctor or a nurse, or whether you're going to, I don't know what else we become in life. All I know is doctors and nurses. But and a pilot or anybody, you don't just decide this is what you want to do and you just start doing it. No, there's that whole training period. And it's not always pleasant. And sometimes, many times, you want to give up. Forget it, this is too difficult, this is too hard. I don't know why school isn't coming easy for me. I don't know why I have to learn this. Why am I being taught this? And then one day you have that aha moment. And one day graduation day comes. And you're able to just be able to explore all that God has for us. But it's so important today that we are humble, that we are gentle, and that we are patient. And not just with ourselves, but with others, because that's what's going to attract people. I don't want to hang out with someone who's full of pride and conceited, think they're better than me. I don't want to hang out with someone who always has a harsh, negative word to give me and very stern with me. I don't want to hang out or talk to people that are always rushing me and impatient with me. I don't know, maybe you like hanging out with people like that, but I don't. And so if that's the type of qualities that we're exhibiting to one another, no one's going to want to be part of our family here at Church of New Harvest. But if we're going out into the communities and the highways and the byways, and we're showing people our humble spirit, we're treating people with kindness, compassion, gentle. And when people aren't measuring up to our standard, it's okay. We're going to be patient with them. We're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. You know, that's the type of people that other people are going to gravitate to. Because people are hurting and people are just looking for someone to take them under their wing. Someone to encourage them, to love on them. Whether they want to admit it or not, that's what people want. People want to feel needed. And so when anybody comes through these doors, we need to make them feel needed. We need to show them humility, kindness, patience. You know, they might come in here and they might act a fool, and guess what? You know, we just gotta love them anyways. We might wish, man, I wish they don't come back. But if they don't come back, they'll never receive what God has for them. And that's what it's all about, is what God has did for us. So the next time we want to get frustrated with someone, we want to be short with someone, we want to be impatient with someone, we want to be ruthless with someone, we need to stop and think how patient and humble and kind and gentle God is with us each and every day. You know, he didn't have to send his son to die on that cross for us. He could have said, you know what? This is your own mess. You deal with it. You know, I created you perfectly. You made yourself flawed. You allow sin to enter into your body. Now you got to deal with it. He didn't say that. He says, he that was lost is now found. And he's come to give us life and life more abundantly. And he did that by the way of the cross. And it's first Sunday of the month, and we're going to partake in communion. And I'm going to ask Larry and Bob, do you mind coming up and passing out the host? And as they come and pass that out, I just want us to reflect this morning on what God has did for us. You know, he's done great things for us. And it's important that we exhibit the qualities that he's placed in us. You know, do you have a humble spirit this morning? Are you gentle in your approach to one another? Are you patient with others? So I just want you to reflect this morning on who you are. Not who I am, not who your neighbor is, but who you are and how others perceive you. Amen.